Sorry I can't be with you in person. COVID has caught up with me and meant that I couldn't be face to face with you all, but I hope you're having a brilliant event. And thank you for this opportunity just to share about TapSOS for the next 5 minutes. Usually what I do when I start presentations is start with this slide. I know many of you in the room might already be familiar with this, but I usually ask, what do all these things have in common? And rather than wait on responses, I'll just fill you in. So each of the things on the screen have been designed and developed here in Northern Ireland. That's something I'm really proud of. And being someone from Northern Ireland and developing a company and a product, this is our ambition, to be globally recognised and used by many. Our product, TapSOS, is currently being used in the UK, but we have global ambitions. And it's just been brilliant to be recognised as an innovator under 35 Europe. Here we are, small little country, but yet with global reach. So for me, it all began right here in front of an industrial lift. And that's when I met a colleague of mine who was deaf. And that really sparked within me this communication barrier and made me kind of question and wonder what would happen in other circumstances when the communication is difficult and there are barriers. And for me, I would have watched TV like this. Many of you will see an interpreter on the screen. I was very much preoccupied and watching an interpreter. I was intrigued. And for me, meeting my deaf colleague and also having this understanding of just sign language a little bit, I went and learned sign language for the next 8 years in college. And that really sparked a few ideas within me. And one of those, by speaking with the deaf community, really understanding that there are so many barriers with different products and services and so much room for improvement. And one of those big ones that stood out was, how do you interact with the emergency services at your time of great need? So I started investigating and looking into what happens here in the UK with the emergency services. We can telephone and we can also text. And I really wanted to explore, how can we enhance this and bring it forward into a more digital age? All I need to do is look at the generations Y and Z that have a massive influence on how we as companies need to innovate and design. So many people now just don't want to speak to people on the phone and prefer to do everything through app technology. We can order food, order taxis, all by not speaking to anybody. And I think this is definitely the future of where technology is going. So for us at TapSOS, we wanted to explore how people then can communicate through non-verbal contact with 999. And we've created the first app to be able to do this. Now, you might Google or search the app stores and type in emergency app, and you will see hundreds and hundreds, quite a lot of them very red, very aggressive, causes a lot of panic. Even some of them are called panic buttons. And these primarily connect you with family and friends, or short list little numbers of support and different helplines. None of them connect with the emergency service, and we were the first to do that. So we spent 4 years on an accreditation scheme with government and linked with different emergency services and BT, and are the first company then to be fully accredited and approved and connected with the BT 999. And it's something we're really proud of. Over the last few years, we have been recognised for numerous awards, which has been fantastic and just really helps with the traction and moving the product into the hands of users. Something as well that has been quite fun on the journey has been meeting many familiar faces, which are on the screen. It's just been a great opportunity just to kind of spread awareness of our product. A favourite of mine was meeting Richard Branson through the Virgin Thing competition, and that was just fantastic. It's really down to earth and shares being dyslexic, something that has been a challenge for me personally, but also something that really helps kind of think little bit outside of the box a bit differently. So for us, the product TapSOS really is about driving more inclusion and access. Something we have developed into the product is just looking at language features. So when you think about whenever you call 999, quite often here, there may be multiple barriers, could be physical, medical, or situational. And what if English isn't your first language? We've found that there are 800,000 people who live in the UK whose language is something other than English. So we have focused on developing the product that it's got language features and also is highly visual, so all icon led. And there is the option of calling 999 as a backup, and that was part of the accreditation request. Something we learned from our users whenever we first launched the app in 2019, where people were really delighted to have access to this, but were afraid to touch it or open it or go anywhere near it. So something we developed within the product is preview mode to allow people to get familiar with the process and have a look and get comfortable with it, because what we want to do is to educate and to make people feel reassured and in control of a time whenever they can be under extreme trauma. During the pandemic, we actually created a second product. We used the name TapDA, but its real name is anonymous, just for the protection of the users who it's for. And this is to report specifically to police any domestic abuse. The idea about this product is that it's disguised and discreet and is very quick to use, really just to support victims against any perpetrators. We really want to help support the police and government to tackle domestic abuse and encourage earlier reporting to produce more positive justice outcomes. It's been a challenging time for many people across the globe, particularly after the effects of the pandemic and lockdowns. And this is something that is definitely on the government agenda, and something we were delighted to be able to kind of have the space to innovate a bit further. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, because I know there's a busy conference ahead. If you haven't heard of TapSOS before, just encourage you to follow us on our social media channels and journey with us. It's just a brilliant opportunity to be able to share this with you, and I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.